With us at the Skyview Motorsports desk, I have Steve Sweitzer of the Lasco Press. He's our NASCAR insider. And then I have Tyler Head from Atlanta Motor Speedway. And gentlemen, good afternoon.
Hi there.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you got it. Well, first off, Tyler Head, he's from Atlanta Motor Speedway, and we have the privilege of going back there in about 1 month. And he's our special guest, and we're going to talk real quick about the Charlotte Coca-Cola 600. That race was run at night, and in our next show, we're going to talk a lot more about your track, Tyler. But first off, let's review that race. Fellas, what are your takeaways from the Coca-Cola 600?
I just think it was an amazing race, right? I mean, you look at it on paper and you see William Byron led 281 laps, and that doesn't really tell the story of the race because that makes you think it was just a thumping with somebody who got way out there and then, kind of lost it at the end. But Denny Hamlin was hounding him throughout that whole entire race. The lead was, in doubt throughout the 600 miles, and then obviously Ross Chastain closes in and makes a really captivating charge to the lead all the way from the back of the pack and wins the thing. So I thought it was an awesome race.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, Chastain started dead last on the field, and you kind of watch him work his way up through traffic, and it's a good thing there were 600 miles to race because if there'd been 550, William Byron would have won. Yeah, he drove a great race, and I think the fans loved it. There was a lot of excitement in the grandstands.
Yeah, the fans were out in mass, and it was awesome. Tyler, was a lot like Atlanta Motor Speedway, a tremendous amount of campers. The stands were full. It was a great time. Kyle Larson had a chance early, and Denny Hamlin had a chance throughout. Carson Hocevar kind of broke through there toward the end of stage 3. And in the end, it was a William Byron show. And that brings it up to, we're going to take a look at, we're going to bring it up to the crew chief for Ross Chastain. And with it, I have Phil Surgeon. Phil Surgeon, the crew chief for Ross Chastain. They had one night, folks. Less than 1 day to rebuild a car that takes them usually about what, gentlemen, about 3-4 weeks. Phil, what got you guys together and taking a car from last to first for the first time in 54 years? Phil?
We brought the car back to the shop, and we probably had 30 people come in. We had, obviously all the road crew that was at the track was there. We had engine support from ECR. We had, shop guys that were at concerts and ball games and everything that just dropped what they were doing, came to the shop. And like I said, probably 30 people there at 8:30 last night. And as the night wore on and, different stages of the process kind of evolved, we sent some of those guys home. And the last of us, there was probably 8 or 10 of us that left at 2:30 last night, and the first guys got back there at 5:30. So, a couple hours of sleep and back at it this morning. And we worked all the way up until the wire until we had to reinspect today at 2 p.m.
I want to thank you, Phil, from Trackhouse Racing. It just goes to show you guys that you guys could put a machine together in less than 1 full day. You guys did a tremendous job, and that shows a lot on your company. Ross Chastain, he wins the race, and with us right now, Ross Chastain. Ross, you win your first major. NASCAR doesn't officially designate those things as majors, race wins, but you have that. What does all this mean to you? Have you been able to take this all in after being to the winner's circle and such a great race win?
I don't know yet. I really don't. I mean, it's sinking in that we won the World 600. We won the Coke 600. But what that means for the team and me and everything else, I mean, you saw us crash yesterday. You've heard me, I think, talk about they were up till 2:30. I left at 10.
For the
they
final
stayed there
time.
long after I was gone. They were back at 5:30.
How
for the car.
From the back
and we put
to
ourselves in, like, we
Ross
just slowly
Chastain
worked our way. It took
wins
all
the
600 miles,
Coca-Cola
like a
600.
400-mile race here. We don't get there. We're not in contention. So it took the whole time, and then I don't know what it means yet. I'm excited to find out, though.
Anything more on Tyler or Steve as we wrap up talking about Charlotte?
Well, I'll tell you, it was kind of interesting in Saturday's Xfinity race. Um, William Byron had just, again, another outstanding dominant car, led all through the first stage. First stage, they have a pit stop, and he's caught speeding on pit road. He gets sent to the rear of the field, and he had to work his way back from the rear of the field up front again and made the pass for the win. So, they talked to Byron after the race, and he was a little bit down, that he wasn't able to pull it off. But now he knows how the other guy felt Saturday.
I just want to underscore Ross Chastain's accomplishment there. Highlighted with Phil what the team was able to do to put him in a position to charge through the field on Sunday. But you look at Ross Chastain compared to the other teammates racing out of Trackhouse right now. Ross is, I believe, 8th in points right now, with obviously a big win in the Coca-Cola 600 now on his resume for the 2025 campaign. Daniel Suarez and Shane Van Gisbergen are 30th and 33rd, respectively, trying to get their feet underneath them and turn things around. So Ross Chastain this season is really, I think, illustrating what ability he has behind the wheel, even if everything isn't necessarily going his way.
Well, I think we talked this race, the Coca-Cola 600. When we come back, we are going to move forward to Nashville, and we're going to do that for you in 30.
Our family stories are your family stories, except with more confetti.
Relive racing history with a walk along Glory Road, or try your hand at our fan favorite racing simulator or pit crew challenge. Feel the passion and thrill of racing with stories and artifacts from the legends who shaped the sport in the Hall of Honor and Heritage Speedway.
Visit the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte for the ultimate outing. NASCAR Hall of Fame, this is our sport. This is our house.
Back with me, Tyler Heck from Atlanta Motor Speedway, and also Steve Schweitzer. He's our NASCAR insider from the Lasco Press. And we're going to be taking a look at the Nashville race. Gentlemen, Steve.
Hey, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be at Nashville this weekend. I wish I was. I think it's going to be a great race. 400 miles, so things are going to happen a little quicker than the 600-mile race last week. And I think it'll be a real battle for the lead.
Yeah, looking at Nashville, I really look at it and, kind of see all the cast of characters that we had at the front this past weekend in Charlotte, and kind of look to see if they can back that up this weekend. There's some differences, of course, between Charlotte and Nashville, with Nashville being a little bit of a shorter intermediate style track than was typical, and having a concrete surface. But the aerodynamics, the mechanical grip, all the things, all the ingredients that are there to be able to compete in Charlotte are very similar for Nashville. So looking at the contenders from this past weekend, I'd definitely be keeping an eye on them on Sunday night in Nashville.
And with that, it's kind of a wide open race. We've had different winners on there, but there's always a spot where the cream rises to the top. Do you guys have any predictions coming into the Nashville race this week? Tyler?
Well, I'm gonna keep a close eye on the 5-car Kyle Larson. He won the first Cup race at Nashville a few years back, and after the bad luck and just everything, Murphy's Law kind of weekend that he had between Indianapolis and Charlotte this past weekend, I know that group's going to be looking for a big rebound, and they've been so good at these intermediate style tracks all year. So definitely keeping an eye on the 5-car.
Dave?
Yeah, well, Larson certainly needs to be on your fantasy team. I think Denny Hamlin is another one that could perform very well at that track. And hey, why not Ross Chastain? There's a possibility of him going back to back. And I'm kind of anxious to see how Carson Hocevar fares. If it had been a 400-mile race at Charlotte, he'd have probably won it. So put him on the fantasy team this weekend too.
Yeah. Also, you have Christopher Bell in there as well, and he's visited Victory Lane. And on these 1.5 mile tracks, these guys are all horses for the course, so to speak. And it should be an interesting race. And like you said, Tyler, they are going to be on concrete. Then they're going to Michigan. And then we're going to work our way over to your track, which we're going to talk about shortly on that. I think on this particular race, any final comments? I'm expecting a doozy of a race, and I'm really excited about that. I thought NASCAR did themselves proud at the Charlotte Coca-Cola 600 race.
Well, I think we probably ought to give a shout out to Prime Video. All of the comments that I read with regard to fan social media comments, they loved the broadcast. Said it was very, very well done. One of the best races of the year, and so those guys deserve a shout out for their efforts on Sunday.
I'd echo that. Not having been fortunate enough to go attend the Coca-Cola 600 in person this year, definitely was satisfied with what Amazon Prime and the whole team brought to the viewers at home, and hopefully they're going to be able to back that up 4 more times this year, and then on throughout the rest of the contract that we have for the TVs going forward. But as far as what we see on the track this weekend, I'm hoping to see a little bit more of the same of what we saw this past weekend, a day-to-night transition race where you have some people come and go throughout the night, and the battle for the win is in doubt throughout the whole event.
And with that, that's a great tease, Tyler and Steve, as we're going to be talking about Atlanta Motor Speedway coming up. We're going to be talking about night racing. That's all coming up. And we're going to leave you with this thought. We have Justin Marks, the owner of Trackhouse Racing, and he's going to be telling us what some of the keys were and what this monumental win does for their race team as a whole. Tyler, Steve, and we're going to talk to you on the next Zoomcast that's coming up with you shortly. Our audience, you got to follow us all the time, LascoPress.com. And when you're going to buy tickets for Atlanta Motor Speedway, Tyler, I think you know where we're going to go.
You just head to AtlantaMotorSpeedway.com and check out all the options that are there for you.
All right, see you in a minute.
Exactly what I'm looking for. I mean, this weekend, I think, was a masterclass in never giving up and grinding. And, it wasn't just the one team that built that car last night. I mean, it was people from all corners of the organization that said, I'll drop what I'm doing and drive to the shop and help. And because we've all been working so hard the last month and a half to sort of turn this team around. And, at a time like this when we unloaded and we were so fast, and it was like, man, like we're starting to get there. Like we can feel the thing kind of turning around. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. I stood in front of everybody at this organization, the first day that I took ownership of it back at the end of 2021. And I said, we have everything that we need to be successful here. We just got to work together. We got to believe in each other. And we have to fundamentally believe that we can do it, that we can go win big races and contend for champions.